Peter Houghton. You've brought in a PBY Catalina. It's a World War II vintage seaplane.
Yes.
Give me a little history on it.
This particular airplane was built in 1943 by Boeing under license in Vancouver, Canada. And it was based in Iceland during its service in World War II. And during that service in 1944, it sunk a submarine off the coast of Canada. And after it left the military, it went through a number of owners, civilian owners. It was basically an airliner for a time and a water bomber for a time. And after that, it was purchased by an individual in France and basically used as a flying movie studio for a number of years. And they filmed National Geographic type documentaries with it. And now it's back in the States.
I understand that it has some relationship to the Cousteau family.
The relationship this particular airplane has is it was used in a movie about the family Cousteau. That's why you see the yellow markings on it. It was painted to resemble their family airplane. But beyond that, that's its connection.
Your trip started from France, right? How long ago? And what was the route that you guys took? Because you can only fly so far on so much fuel.
Well, it's what, 10 days ago, 12 days ago, 14 days, I'm not sure. Some time ago, we flew out of France and left France for Wick in Scotland, had a slight detour to Inverness, and from Wick in Scotland, we went to Reykjavik in Iceland. From Iceland, we went to Narsarsuaq in the south end of Greenland. From Greenland, we went to Goose Bay in Canada, and from Goose Bay to Trois-Rivières in Quebec, and from Quebec to Willow Run to Norman, Oklahoma, and Norman, Oklahoma to here. And now we have 2 more stops, one in California and the final stop in Eugene, Oregon.
Your association with the Colfax County area has been an interesting one from talking to your wife. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, started many years ago. Used to come down here camping and exploring, and my wife and I both decided to move to the area, and we found a nice little spot in Springer. And I'm hoping to get a hangar built at the Springer Airport and continue with my business, which involves World War II airplanes.
She kind of indicated that you're an engineer and you've rebuilt a few.
I've rebuilt a few World War II airplanes. I maintain quite a few here in the States, a lot of airplanes overseas as well, and I kind of want to stay at home a little bit more. So that's the idea, build a hangar and bring the business here.
That'll make for an interesting time in Springer. Understand that the plane right now is under new ownership, and you have the owner with you?
Yes, we do. The reluctant owner.
And he's a youngin', it looks like.
Well, my grandfather's the owner. I'm just helping arrange the transportation back to Oregon for him.
What does your grandfather do?
He owns Industrial Finishes and Systems. It's a paint company out of Eugene, Oregon, and does business in about 30 states now.
What was his idea about buying this particular airplane?
After breakfast one Saturday, we just started talking about it, and he said, I've always wanted one of those. So we found one for sale online and called George here, flew over to France, looked at it, and he decided he wanted it. So 6 months later, here we are flying it back.
Did you have to do a lot of work on it to get it ready for that kind of a trip?
The airplane was in very good shape, flown regularly, hangared, so it was in very reasonable shape. There were just some specific preparations we had to do to prepare it for the long journey. But beyond that, it was just basic upkeep.
Well, how was the trip? I understand your wife works out at Capulan Volcano. How was the trip past the volcano today?
Oh, it was a beautiful view. I mean, typical of New Mexico with the thunderstorms and the weather. A little bumpy, but otherwise spectacular as usual.
And you leave tomorrow for California, right?
Yeah, we're heading from here to Sonoma, California, and then from there to Eugene.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
No, thank you.